So, hello everybody, here's a quick update for my channel. Maybe it's not going to be that quick because I don't really know how long I'm going to talk, but I want to let you know that we are starting and embarking on a new Duet campaign. For those of you who have been following the English content on my RPG side of things, we have been playing duets, i.e. one game master, if you like, and one PC since, I want to say, 2000. I actually have not really checked when we first started, but we have been playing several different systems. Call of Cthulhu with Alice Baker, Midgard 5 with Daughter of Alaba. We've also now taken Modern Age Threefold from Green Ronin with Paris Squared. And I want to say about 2 years ago, I came across the term RPG duets because I didn't really know that there was an official term, and also later on I discovered that this idea of having just one game master and one player is something that has been around even in Dungeons and Dragons for a very long time. I want to say even 3rd edition already had scenarios that were written for one DM and one player only. And there is a couple named Beth and Jonathan Ball who have been playing RPG duets for a long time, and they've also been working on mechanics, tips and tricks, but also full-blown campaigns for RPG duets. They also have a Patreon which you can subscribe to, and I have also featured some of their work on this channel already. We've also played one or two of their scenarios in the Daughter of Alaba scenario arc. I've taken the scenarios and then just transposed them into this different system, which isn't a problem at all. But I've always wanted to play their campaign. And it so happens that they did a Kickstarter for that campaign, and that Kickstarter was successful and books are already shipping. I didn't actually get the physical book simply because shipment from the United States is very expensive, plus you also have to pay excise and duty and tax, and it's all quite expensive. So I decided to go for the PDF, and I have the first PDF of 2 already here, and it is a 5th edition D&D based campaign. So if you have the 5e Player's Handbook 2014, this will be 100% compatible. You may also need, I'm not sure, the monster manual, but some of the monsters which are proprietary monsters for this particular campaign are statted in the book. Since I bought the PDF, I'm going to show you my version of it, which is the PDF that I had sent to a printer, and they printed it out for me so that I have the full color version, plus they also bound it. So when you decide to go for the actual physical book, it's going to look totally different. This is a printout of the PDF. I believe that the books are hardcover as far as I know, because I saw a couple of pictures of them. I don't know if they also have a softcover version, but the ones that I saw on Patreon are actually hardcover. I will also link in the description to this show a link to the shop where you can buy the products, at least the PDFs, where you can also find additional videos that Beth and Jonathan have made about their campaign, and talking about the story that I'm going to tell you about in a bit so that you can hear it from the horse's mouth. I would also like to point out that I'm not affiliated with them, and the links aren't sponsored. So it is me telling you, hey, I've got this awesome product which I really like, and I think you should also check it out because I think it may be interesting for you. So just as a summary, a duet campaign means 2 people at a table, usually, so 1 game master, 1 player, and the game master usually runs 1 NPC. This is how we've always done it. My Dottie is the, if you say Game Master PC to Alice. Then we had Siobhan for Aisling, and we have Celeste for Amélie. And this doesn't mean that you can't have more than one player. I absolutely believe that at least this one will scale for as many players as you like. The only thing you as the Game Master have to do is you have to up the ante, you have to add more foes, because otherwise it's going to be a breeze if they just run through it. If you've got like 3 or 4 players, then I think if you play it out of the book, it's going to be a little bit more difficult. Although they do have scaling advice already. They say in this particular instance 2 times monsters, which means that if it's 2 times zombies, you take the number of players that you have, and you just, or characters that you have, and then double it, and that's the number of monsters that you should be facing. So without further ado, here is Land of Vampires Slipping into Shadows by Jonathan and Beth Ball, and it is for the 5th edition, level 1 to 10 campaign. So players would normally start at level 1 and can go through level 10. There is a second part which they are currently finalizing, which will take you up to level 14. And they're also gonna, as far as I know, release supplemental information about the world. It's set in Azuria, which is the continent or the world that also Beth's other stories are set in. But it is, and for those of you who know Curse of Strahd, slightly reminiscent of Curse of Strahd, because you will be sent to a pocket dimension, whatever you want to call it, and that's where the whole story takes place. So you will spend some time in Azuria, but then you are transported into a very dark world where vampires reside. And I mean, this is not really a spoiler, that, you know, since it's called Land of Vampires, let's face it, this is where we are going to go. Now, I'm not going to show the content simply because I don't want to breach any copyright infringements or anything. But the story is definitely, I would say, for mature audiences. So I wouldn't play this with children necessarily. So I would say they should be 13, 14, thereabouts. And of course for adults, no problem at all. But again, please take into account that some of the story elements may not be suitable for everybody, because there is violence in this. And before you sit down at the table with your player, please read it. There are also some pieces of advice, you know, how you can change certain story elements if you don't think that they're suitable. Generally speaking, I absolutely love the story. I love the graphic implementation that they have made. It is very, very nicely done. I absolutely, and this is where I'm just going to show the actual page once. Well, you can't see it because now you can see it, but the layout is in 2 columns. And I can tell you, I have problems with my eyes because I'm old at this stage. I can read this so clearly. It is unbelievable. I can actually just put it down at my desk and just basically take notes and just glance down, and it is easily readable. So for me, this is super helpful. Also, they have little text boxes where, you know, okay, so this is something that you might want to read out. So they basically have those call outs that really clearly explain to you how to use the book. Like I said, there are some monsters stats in the back. There are also NPC stats. So basically, if you don't do it the way we do, where we actually roll up characters or create characters for both of us, one DM character and one player character, this book will give you the possibility of introducing your player to possible party members that they can then take with them, and they are fully statted as well. So you can play this book without anything else but the Player's Handbook 2014. So this is what we're going to be doing, but with a twist, because we are going to use the Player's Handbook 2024. Now, we are going to start at level 3 because I've never started at play at level 3, but I know that this is something that a lot of people do, so we've decided to do it this time as well, and we will see how this goes. So it does mean that I will have to change and up the ante a little bit, because level 3 characters are actually quite powerful. So the first couple of levels that are described in the book, we will have to change a little bit, simply because otherwise it will just be too easy. With regard to 2024, I have already said on this channel that we're going to play a warlock, Azimar, with a fiend pact. Yeah, I know what you're thinking. And a monk. And basically we've created those characters, level 3. We have taken the standard array from the book. We've taken the Azimar species is in the book. I'm playing a Kalashtar, that's not in the book. But since the species is a lot less important with regard to providing you with stat changes, because they don't exist anymore, it's all in the background. You can essentially take any species that you like and it'll work. My background is Wayfarer, and the background of the Warlock is Merchant. And I have made a couple of changes to the setting in terms of where we set out. It will be set in Azuria. It will be following the map, as it were, because you also get beautiful maps when you buy this PDF, and you can use those. I've imported them into Roll20 and it works perfectly. But we're gonna start in a village, not in the city as is described in the book, for various reasons that I don't want to go into. I just felt it was, for me, more suitable to not start in the city. And from there we will take it pretty much following the story route of the book. With regard to 2024, a lot of people have a lot of opinions about 2024. My summary is I have watched several videos by people who really dislike it, or who dislike parts of it, or who say, well, this is actually good. And I have to say, when I read such a book, I approach it with my knowledge, with my lens, and read it through my lens, and also think about my gaming group, or the people that I play with, and think, how would it work? So a lot of the criticism that has been leveled against this book is that they try to make the martial classes better, more interesting, by giving them weapon masteries. So for example, Cleave is back in business. And I remember Cleave from Pathfinder 1st edition. So that they have kind of like, that they are not outclassed by the magic users, which I honestly found very interesting, because in our game we have one magic user, we've got one wizard, and one cleric. I will say that the cleric is also kind of a magic user, although their magic is more divine in origin, or is divine in origin. And I don't think that they are outclassed by the martial classes, because we've got a barbarian that is a pure martial class, and I don't think that they're eclipsing the barbarian at all. Even before the barbarian took the multi-classing paladin, which makes perfect sense in the story, he was more than able to hold his own, and he really made such a big impact. So I'm not seeing where 2014 would lead to the martial classes being outclassed. I honestly don't see it, but this seems to have been an issue which they were trying to fix by bringing in the weapon masteries. And now it's been said that this doesn't work, because if you multi-class as a wizard and then take fighter level 1, you also get weapon mastery access, and then you have the super powerful spells that you have, and you have the weapon mastery, and then basically, off you go. And I thought that this was interesting because the person who actually pointed this out is somebody who's a complete Pathfinder advocate. And I always felt that this is how Pathfinder works. Pathfinder is kind of like completely the min-max game if I've ever played one. I had to play it because nobody wanted to play D&D 4th edition, so they played Pathfinder instead, and it was either playing Pathfinder or not playing, so it was a very easy choice for me, so I played Pathfinder. I never really liked it. I think it's way overcomplicated, and also, I mean, it's the min-max game. I mean, seriously, this is when I started min-maxing, when I started playing Pathfinder, because I realized that if I just build a character that is kind of like a good role-playing character, Pathfinder isn't going to help me at all. I need to min-max. And a lot of people are saying that this Dungeons and Dragons is going to invite the min-maxing, because then the magic user will just take one level in fighter and off they go. And I think this is where the problem comes in, because that is just if you as the game master allow them to do that. It's the same with origins and backgrounds. You know, if you already have a cleric, then somebody cannot actually take the relevant background that gives somebody else also basic cleric stuff. But it might make sense that if you don't have any clerics at all and anyone who can heal, you might want to get somebody to take this background. So I think it's actually a lot easier for a new GM to balance a group by saying, okay, we don't have anybody who heals, you take this background, and I'm sorry about this, but I'm going to tell you now because you do need healing, and so on and so forth. So we're going to take this, and I believe it's going to be awesome. We won't have to make many changes. What we were going to do, and there's a video also on my channel, we were going to use the Roll20 5th edition 2024 character sheet. Unfortunately, this is probably one of the worst IT rollouts I've ever seen, and I work in IT, because the new character sheet is abysmally bad. It's just terrible. And I don't really know what they were thinking. I've also given extensive feedback. We have now reverted back to the old character sheets, and we will just have to import everything manually, because you can't just drag and drop, because the old character sheet is not compatible with the new compendium, which I think sucks. But we will use the old character sheet, but we will play using the 2024 rules. And we are going to start this week, all going well, keeping fingers crossed, and ease ourselves into the beautiful story, using the new rules, which we haven't played with yet. And that's going to be the plan for the English-speaking part of this RPG channel. We're going to play Land of Vampires, Slipping into Shadow. Knowing us, it'll take a lot longer than maybe the balls thought it was going to take, because we spend a lot of time role-playing and going off on tangents. I will also put my own spin on it. We will put our own spin on it, because we will, as always, shape the world as we go through it. So we would be happy if you joined us. I would be also very happy if you gave this a good look and decided to buy it, because I think it's a really, really good campaign setting and a campaign book that you can play out of the box. I've read so many campaign books, but this is the first one where I'm like, you could sit down just with the basic knowledge of rules, roll up characters, and off you go. It is really well written, and you can see that it has been play tested so thoroughly. And like I said, hopefully this Wednesday we are going to start, and then we this will take us way into 2025. And yeah, like I said, I hope you will enjoy it. This is the first time we will be playing Dungeons and Dragons in a duet setting. And I'm really looking forward to it, and we will talk to you then. Bye!